Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the world's biggest retail store, which has n number of distribution channels and outlets worldwide, with the products flowing from the suppliers to customers. It's a big complex exercise which is happening with none other than the giant retail Starbucks. Yes. Uh, can you all just uh, look at what logo it is? Yes, absolutely. It's a logo of Starbucks. So Starbucks is in the Fortune top 10 of world's most admired companies. And they're also included in more than 20 rankings about innovation, valuable brands, best places to work, supply chain, corporate reputation, customer loyalty, and even the coolest brands on earth. In other words, everyone loves Starbucks. Okay, just a small, again, a little higher overview on what Starbucks is all about. Starbucks is a giant global company, um, which in turn based out of Seattle, the USA. It's the largest coffee house company in the world with 20,891 stores in 62 countries. This giant global company, what exactly goes into the process from cocoa beans in a field to a steaming cup of delicious coffee? It has acquired an amazing supply chain that spans across almost 19 countries. Cocoa beans can come out from one country, milk from the other country, and entirely a different country where it might be hundreds or thousand miles away. The global resource span is a great way for Starbucks to expand the company and reach more countries than ever before. Not only that, but Starbucks is able to supply the best ingredients to their customers for a lower price. All raw materials are sent to one roasting area, and that's where it's being manufactured, and the packaging plant is also located, and it's everything is centralized and everything is very effective. And these roasting centers make every single one of the beans, take care of the beans which is being prepared, manufactured, and packaged in the same exact way, and thoroughly through a process of well designed manufacturing processes. So once it is prepared, it again becomes a tedious process, a well thought out delivery process. The amount of coffee being delivered each day is really astonishing, uh, but with over 70,000 deliveries daily, Starbucks is able to supply each store with adequate amount of coffee. Yes, let's start. Why exactly this study on the supplies chain strategy of Starbucks is all about? Since the company began its business growth, yes, right from the beginnings, and to the CEO of Starbucks right now, Mr. Kevin Johnson, who came into the company's board as a board member from 2009, and from 2017 he stepped up as CEO of Starbucks. Um, since the company began its business growth, supply chain strategy was not a priority for the company. Until the late 2000s, they had a deal with a struggling supply chain was not a priority for the company. But then the economic downturn set in, forcing Starbucks to re-engineer its supply chain. In 2010, the company removed more than 700 million from its supply chain costs and used an innovative set of metrics to achieve remarkable results. At the time, the Seattle based company had to face a recession, and for the time in its history, they saw their sales going down, which also meant the increase of supply chain cost. A very segmented operation instead of being comprehensive, different logistic metrics inside the same process and a significant decline in the supply chain process. So, for example, the organization was scheduling store deliveries without considering its warehouse capacity. So, delivery stocks would routinely leave the distributor center with less than the full order capacity for a store. So, according to this, the retail technology analysis, Starbucks needed to face and find a solution for all the story which it began in early 2000s. the coffee prices started decreasing, and even the entire it had a very huge um, struggle which it has to face. Uh, so uh, that was when the story began. So it has to need to find a solution for all this. Okay, let's understand the five force model, or the Porter's five force model in a coffee industry. The new entrants coming in, the supplier, the in, the internal industry rivalry which is happening inside because of the other coffee competitors, coffee beans coming in, the substitute product for coffee, yes, the tea of course, and or the what else we say, no, not only the tea and other alcoholic beverages. The new entrants who are coming into the market, like say for example, uh, the big giants coming up opposite Starbucks, and also the buyers who demand and who wanted high brand loyalty for the products, the suppliers who demand low cost for the products they wanted to supply. So all these five forces are the biggest tremendous thing which uh, an coffee industry was facing. And looking at the upstream supply chain of Starbucks, from farmers to Starbucks, so they what typically they did what as an organization, the stable supply of coffee is critical. They cannot expect the coffee to be supplied. It's a kind of a seasonal product. It cannot be run through the entire year. It's very critical. The supply is going to be critical as a starting point to deliver its value to the customers, and to sustain the high growth rate. It has to keep in a stable supply of coffee for the entire year long. So that was the biggest problem which, as an organization, Starbucks literally faced from farmers. So then came in the suppliers, and last yes, they got in the technology or the cafe practice. Coffee and farmer equity practice is a comprehensive set of environmental, social, and economic coffee buying guidelines designed to support coffee buyers and farmers, ensuring high quality coffee and promote equitable relationship for the long term. In turn, this cafe practice, which was started by the Starbucks, is in turn gonna not only profit uh, Starbucks as a coffee giant, but also the farmers who are uh, in turn believing that definitely they're gonna get profit for the goods which they produce, and also the coffee buyers. So this was done in order to support the coffee buyers and the farmers, and also to create in the biggest relationship among the customers who really rely upon that uh, they're gonna get a quality product from Starbucks as an organization. So Starbucks, so they also faced a lack of supply chain strategy, which focused on delivering enterprise values. It also lacked organization calibration of benefits. It also lacked the focus on the right supply chain metrics from the farmers to the Starbucks. So, and from the Starbucks to the customers in turn, and also the need for increasing investment in talent enhancement and acquisition. So this was a biggest strategy which is biggest problem, initial objectives or initial objections which cafe which as an organization, cafe giant coffee giant as Starbucks went on. So there was initial objectives which were followed for cafe practice. Uh, it is not a code of conduct or a compliance program, but it is a way of doing business. It's like how you can do the business in a proper sense. How you can increase your economic, social, and environmental sustainability. How you can encourage the suppliers through economic incentives, and how you can purchase say the majority of Starbucks coffee and the cafe practices guidelines, and how you can negotiate for a long-term contracts with your suppliers, and how you can promote transparency and economic fairness within the supply chain. So these were the initial objectives which cafe practice was why it came into, and why it practice is constituted to give a quality coffee and also to minimize a crisis. So as the background pictures tells us, what is the value chain of Starbucks value chain was how it was followed. You can see the new supply chain strategy, how it transformed, how they moved from a traditional logistics mindset to an organization purpose built into deliver value, monitoring and adding value to every step of the production process, every step, right from the farmers, right from the marketing viability, and right from the supply base. Everything was taken into account. The company wanted its supply chain to accelerate speed to the market and enable the sales growth. Starbucks management challenged the supply chain organization to compress its cost to serve and elevate its service while obtaining training and retaining the best talents in the business. So, in order to achieve, the company began to implement several changes in many areas of its business model. Like, say, for example, in the logistics management part, they brought in the problem-solving attitude, everything, better partnership. So those actually what they faced was two things actually they faced. One is the lack of integrated information technology, and the second one is from the farmers. So both the things has to be taken into has to be resolved by the management. So what they did was basically they took a problem solving attitude. The company's traditional approach led to covering problems and resolving issues with as little attention as possible. Its shift in leadership direction now focuses on highlighting the problems. Employees understood their job is to know what's broken and what needs to be improved. So that changed, and they fixed that problem. So better partnership. Starbucks partnered with were encouraged to ask for people with who had the same kind of a mindset, and they also brought in new metrics. So that's the how to manage in the logistics management. So they discarded some irrelevant metrics and kept away with the essential ones. And also with the inbound logistics. According to them, they selected the finest quality of coffee beans by the company, appointed by the coffee buyers from coffee producers in Latin America, Africa, and Asia. In case of Starbucks, the green or unroasted beans were procured directly from the farms, and they were transported to the sites to get it roasted. So, these company owned and some are operated by the logistic companies. The companies does not outsource this procurement. So, rather, what they did was they started bringing in the inbound logistics. So there was a very little presence of the outbound logistics, and also the procurement part. Starbucks agents used to travel to Latin America and Africa to buy a high grade raw materials to bring in the finest coffee, and end of the day satisfying their customers. So that's how the situations and everything was put into place. So everything, the result of all these improvements has strengthened the brand loyalty, the loyalty of the customers, and even the happiness of their employees. Yes, of course, it is a moment where the entire organization, as a crypto coffee, how a Starbucks has to use the technology to stay ahead of the competition, and also to restore the supply chain problems. Because Starbucks, the coffee is being made somewhere, and drunk by somebody else on the other part of the world. As it has had a widespread location with 24,000 locations across close to 60 to 70 countries today. it has a very big operations, very big. It has impacted many people a lot for with the quality which they've given all these while. So it is a little tougher situation how what Starbucks faced, but uh, it has come out of it very delightfully, that using their integrated communication technology system, and also stepped ahead of the competitors. And that's about Starbucks for the day. And have a cup of coffee to remain stress relieved. And thank you.